Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Here at TNN, we are hosting our very first presidential debate with House Minority Leader and Republican Vice Presidential nominee Shamrock and Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Governor Tom Higgins for the Rainbow Dash. So today we are hosting a vice presidential debate, a voice one of a kind across mock government simulation form. We do have two reporters tonight with us. We have reporter Owen Haley and reporter Diego working at TNN. So here we are going live. And so enjoy, sit back, and watch the candidates debate it out. Let us know in the comment section below who you think will win the debate tonight. And let us know who you think is winning the debate on certain issues and what issues matter to you below. Thank you, and let's start candidate. Candidate number one, House Minority Leader Shamrock. Would you like to make your introduction?
Hello, many of you know me. My name is Shamrock. I've been on the server for a little while now, and throughout my time on this server, I have spent my time campaigning for Louis Amaya and for the betterment of the people. I have attempted to pass the Education Act of 2028, and I've also attempted to run for the United States Senate. I felt like I have done a great job as the House Minority Leader, and I am looking forward to serving as your Vice President, and we can get moderate, good policies done, and we can get this ball rolling and Amaya into the White House in 2028.
Governor Higgins, what is your introduction?
Well, thank you. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Governor Tom Higgins of the great state of Illinois. I want to thank TNN for hosting this debate and Minority Leader Shamrock for being here tonight. I've been on this server for a little bit. I ran for president in the 2028 cycle in the Democratic primaries, and I ended up dropping out. And I am now the vice presidential running mate for Rainbow Dash, who is going to be the next president of these United States of America. Thank you.
And so here are the debate rules as follows. Each candidate will be allotted 2 minutes per their response per question. 1 minute will be given to the opposing candidate for a rebuttal, with 30 seconds going to the moderator at their discretion to give towards each candidate if they need to finish what they need to say. However, the questions tonight are also pointing from questions when James Adele was running on the ticket. He dropped out last night. So some of the questions do not make sense. These are directly questions have not come from TNN itself, but rather a town hall that was posted on Leo Purdot's channel. So all these questions are submitted by actual voters. So tonight, candidates will answer the question that voters are wondering about. Good luck to both of you, and let's begin. So first question. Diego is going to read the first question for me. Diego?
Hello. For Tom Higgins, some people are stuck in southern border and forced to migrate to Ellis Island as a result. The economy in the Latino majority areas are greatly affected by President Oliva's order, which a presidential nominee under the damage President Oliva has caused.
So, when it comes to immigration, first of all, Dash and I, we do support what President Oliva has done, but we do feel that we can be, when it comes to immigration, a new voice. We think Oliva's done a decent job with immigration, but we want to be a new voice. You know, we want to certainly increase border agents and do whatever we can there to prevent the separation of families and stop the drugs that are coming into this country illegally. We have a problem at the border, and we want to propose immigration reform that we feel is going to significantly help America.
Okay. So we are going to do a one minute rebuttal for Shamrock. Go ahead.
Okay, well, for the most part, I think I agree with that. I think we need to do what we need to do to stop immigrants flowing into our country. But the question was, what are we going to do about Ellis Island? And what am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what me and Lewis are going to do. We are going to make sure Latin American countries are formed into NATO and to other allies so they can become more stable and grow economically. We are not for providing senseless and immediate aid, but we are for helping countries in need. However, on the border, I do say that many of Governor Higgins and Senator Dash's policies are in line with what we would like to do. However, we would also like to take a more conservative and appropriate, in our eyes, stance to what.
Thank you for your response. So we will start the next question. Scientists are saying in the next 5 years, they expect the San Andreas fault line to wake up again, causing havoc on the West Coast, displacing 67 million people. What is your administration's plan to address this issue if it does occur? Reminder, it's years overdue. The more it doesn't wake up, the more damage it will cause when it does. What is your response? Minority Leader Shamrock, you're first. You have 2 minutes on the clock.
I don't know. Did you guys hear me? I just realized my mic was muted.
Yes, I mute you because you were over the time.
Oh, okay. So, this is a very interesting question. We definitely want to make sure people don't have to move from their houses, and we want to make sure people are okay and saved. However, we also realize this could be a very expensive thing and a wrench into some of the programs Louis Amaya has planned. We will make sure we can find a balanced area of action so we can both remain wealthy and get people to safety.
Thank you for that. Governor Higgins, you can now respond.
Well, thank you. Yes, this is a very interesting question indeed. Dash and I, we support making sure that, obviously nobody's displaced from their homes, and we will provide immediate funding to make sure that, anybody who is displaced from their homes will be able to have a secure home in that area. And we will also give any damage relief programs the necessary funding that they need as well.
Thank you for that, candidate. Shamrock, would you like to rebuttal?
I'm good on that issue for rebuttaling, but one thing
Okay.
I would like to do is go back to the border.
Unfortunately, we
is
cannot
allowed.
do that. We have multiple questions. We do have to move on. I'm sure another question similar is coming up along the way. I'm sure you can continue that on forward. Okay. Next
Okay,
question.
no problem with me.
Okay, Higgins, enlist your accomplishments as governor.
Well, thank you for the question. As governor of Illinois, what I've been able to do is I've been able to expand healthcare for veterans. We've been able to open up veterans clinics. We've been able to make sure veterans are getting the mental health services that they deserve in the state of Illinois, and making sure that the VA protects their prescription drug costs. I've been able to invest in education. We've been able to increase curriculum and increase the amount of STEM education programs within the state of Illinois, and make sure that we have proper funding. One thing that I am trying to work on with the current legislature is trying to increase the salaries of public school teachers, because Dash and I believe that it is unfair that public school teachers are devoting a lot of their own time and a lot of their own money, and they're not getting paid enough of a salary by the school district. So we will make sure that school teachers have more money in their pockets immediately. I've consistently lowered costs. I continue to cut taxes in the state of Illinois. I was able to slash the grocery tax and was able to reduce the gasoline tax within the state of Illinois. And I'm very proud of my work so far as Illinois governor, and I will want to continue that work as vice president. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So, next question for Shamrock. Would you like to rebuttal?
No, I'd like to move on to the next question.
Okay, copy. Okay, Diego, you can now speak on this issue. You can ask the candidates the next question. Okay, I'm going to speak on his behalf. What is your position on LGBTQ rights? Shamrock, you're first.
Me and Lewis, as of right now, are very supportive of LGBTQ rights. We believe everyone has the right to basic human rights. And while our religions do not agree with it, we are more than willing to be presidents and vice president for everyone, not just a specific group of people. However, one thing that I stand for, and that the Education Reform Act of 2028, which we hope to get passed if elected president, stands for, is making sure that LGBTQ and inappropriate things within the education system is not taught in the education system. We want to have more time on things that will brighten students and expand their knowledge on other aspects, as other countries are doing with higher education values.
Okay, is that all?
That is all for now, yes.
Okay. Governor Tom Higgins, you may now go. With your response, you got 2 minutes.
Thank you. Dash and I, we support LGBTQ rights. It is a fundamental right. We believe that you can love and you can marry whoever you want to marry. That's the great thing about this country. We want to protect the freedoms, and the freedom to marry whoever you want is one freedom that we will protect. We will be, as somebody who, is Dash being a candidate who is part of the LGBTQ community and having LGBTQ, people within the United States, it's important that we have a president and a vice president who support the LGBTQ community 100%. And that's what we're going to do. Thank you.
Do you have anything you would like to rebuttal, Shamrock?
For the most part, I agree with him. A president has to be a president for all, not just a specific group of people. And I agree that we need to stand for all communities, no matter what type.
Okay, thank you for that. Next candidate, we will be going on to the next question. The question is for Shamrock. What are your thoughts on Project 2029? Recently failed Republican governor candidate Bradahan demanded that Louis Amaya, if elected, to enact Project 2029. We're going to quickly pull up that response here on the screen so everybody can see it. You can see that he messaged this today. And so we would like to know, what is your thoughts on Project 2029? Now, for those who are watching tonight who are not familiarized with Project 2029, I am going to list those policies now. The next one says, purge the government of thousands of civil servants and replace them with unqualified far-right MAGA loyalists. Send the Justice Department after the political enemies of the Republican nominee. We have here, send it, pardon violent January 6th criminal insurrectionists. Pack the Supreme Court and lower courts with MAGA extremists. Enact a national abortion ban and restricts IVF assets. Reverse the FDA approval of abortion medication. Remove mention of abortion and reproductive health from agencies material. Reverse President Obama and President Oliva's student debt forgiveness. Reinstate student debt on millions of Americans. Give tax handouts to the ultra wealthy and big corporations. Eliminate unions and worker protections. Cut Social Security and raise the retirement age. Cut and privatize Medicare. Rip away health care from tens of millions. Remove protection for pre-existing conditions. Repeal President Obama's law that allowed Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices. Abolish the Department of Education. implement and expand book bans, go after marriage equality, repeal anti-discrimination protection for LGBTQ students, reinstate Trump transgender military ban, and expel transgender service member, end climate protection and gut clean energy programs, withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, repeal the Inflation Reduction Act, President Obama's landmark climate law, repeal climate advisors with fossil fuel lobbyists, deregulate big corporations and the oil industry, send the U.S. military after anti-Republican protests, put immigrants in mass detention camps, rip immigrant children from the arms of their mothers, reinstate and expand Trump Muslim ban. Shamrock. So that is what is in Project 2029. Would you like to let us know what your response to this? This was submitted by one of the voters tonight, and it was also mentioned by a failed Republican governor in the state of Florida. Was Tom Higgins, the vice presidential nominee tonight, had successfully defeated in the state of Florida. What is your response?
Well, I'd like to ask you, who made this plan? Because it clearly wasn't a representative of the EMEA campaign, and it really has nothing to do with the EMEA campaign. And one thing I don't like is people who claim to be honest and true politicians with integrity lying about this and trying to use it to tie it to the EMEA campaign. This is a non-issue, and I doubt if any of this is going to get passed. We are going to stay to our moderate core beliefs because that is what Louis Amaya is about. It is about serving the president of the nation, not the president of a certain group of people. There is no way in heck we implement Project 2029, and it is a fake, completely fake thing created by the media. We have no plans to do it, and we are strictly against it. It is fake, and we will not stand for it.
Do you have anything else you would like to add to that comment? You have 1 more minute.
Well, I would like to say I am definitely not happy that the Rainbow Dash campaign is trying to use this against us. It is just the most completely untrue thing ever. No one in the history of politics has ever said such close of a lie. It was quote unquote created by an opposing presidential campaign that had actually attacked us for being too moderate. And it wasn't even really created by that. And they're trying to attack us for this, even though we said in the primaries way back, this isn't what we stand for, and this is bad. So definitely not very happy with that.
And I do want to make sure I make this point known that this is a submitted question by voters. This was not done by TNN on behalf of TNN. Like I said earlier, none of the questions were created by TNN. So these were the questions that was submitted, and there is proof that I could show afterwards that it was submitted. However, I do apologize if anyone does think that this was done on behalf of TNN. However, TNN is a bipartisan news outlet that doesn't pick sides. So, moving on, Tom Higgins, what is your rebuttal? You got 1 minute.
Well, thank you. Yes, Project 2029 is an extreme agenda, frankly, and it's not going to get passed, and it is an extreme agenda. One of the lies that he said is that we're using this against the EMEA campaign. I don't know any time when Rainbow Dash or our campaign has used Project 2029 to go after the EMEA campaign. It is an extreme agenda. And we know that Amaya is a moderate. We're a moderate campaign, and we obviously do not support these policies.
Do you have anything you'd like to add? You have 20 seconds.
No, that's about it.
Okay.
Hold on.
Hold on 1 second. Jimmy Carter, the guy who I just banned Vader, he was the guy who joined the live and started saying white supremacist comment during the 2026 midterm. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not referring to Higgins and Shamrock's response. Okay? So My apologies, Shamrock.
May I have a rebuttal, please?
Sure, you can rebuttal. You have 1 minute on the clock.
So this is a message from Rainbow Dash on, I think, on the 7/15/2024, basically saying, reaching out to 40 plus members and offering an agenda and campaigning is not fair. It's time to stop the smears and focus on real policies. And then she would then accuse us of being part of Project 2029 by saying, offering a true vision for the American people besides the behind the scenes rumor of Project 2029, basically accusing us of being involved in it. We had a whole conversation in which we practically caught her lying about this to us, and it is clear that the lying continues on the debate stage tonight.
Higgins, would you like to rebuttal that?
Well, Project 2029 has no place in America. It's an extreme agenda. And, I know for a fact that the EMEA campaign is certainly not indulging themselves in that. It is an extreme agenda, and they even know it is. I know there's people in their party who certainly do support it, and certainly some candidates that were running previously that perhaps could support it. But I haven't, seen anything from their part on that.
Okay, thank you for that. So we are going to move on to the next question. If anyone tonight see any sort of racist comment being made in the live chat, please let me know. I will ban them.
Could you please ban Emperor Palpatine?
I did.
He's saying the hard
I did.
Okay.
Yep, I banned him. He's gone. Okay, we're going to move on to the next question tonight. Higgins, do you still believe that Rainbow Dash imported votes just to secure the Democratic presidential nomination for herself? And if so, how would she answer to all her allegations that she is a Dixiecrat? Now, just keep in mind that this is a submitted question by people who submitted questions tonight on the town hall. So, Higgins, your response. You have 2 minutes.
Well, I'm not aware of any votes that are being claimed to have been imported. I'm not aware of that in any sense. So I don't really have any comment on that. And then what was the second part of that question? Was it about a
Dixiecrat. Higgins, you have another minute and 25 seconds. The ending of that question is Dixiecrat.
Right. Right. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see the other side of that. I also have not seen anything from Dash on that about Dixiecrat. It would. I'm not sure if she had said that herself, or if she had, or if she's being accused of that. I know she's definitely not a Dixiecrat type of candidate. So, yeah.
Okay, moving on. So,
hold up. Am I able
would you like to rebuttal?
Yes, I would.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to interrupt you 1 second. Leo, you have the permission to ban them. Okay, now you can rebuttal.
All right. So for starters, I remember specifically Higgins campaigning against Rainbow Dash, saying that he imported votes, and the fact that he won't continue to admit that she imported votes is completely wild to me. We have screenshot evidence from Manchin that she did, in fact, import votes. And it's practically clear as day that she did it. She went from non-existent poll numbers to the easy front runner in a span of a few days. I don't think that's just luck or pure campaigning skills. I think that's easily imported votes, and we have the evidence to prove it. So I would like Tom Higgins to come on this stage and admit tonight that Dash did in fact import votes.
Oh, okay. So, hold on one second. So I just realized the people that are coming on to the live stream, Wigan, is actually coming from Diego's server, and I'm not accusing Diego. These people are actually coming in from Diego and Owen's server. These are people that they are associated with. Not saying that they're associated with them, but they are in their server, so they somehow are finding out about this live tonight. And same thing with Skylar B. Bennett server. So my recommendation to Owen and Diego and Skylar, ban those people from your server. Okay. All right, we're going to move on. Sorry about that, Shamrock. Do you have anything else you'd like to say? Could I cut you off?
Well, I mean, I'd really like Mr. Higgins to come clean and admit that in fact import votes. I think this is a very serious issue, and I think we need honest members in the government to come up and say what needs to be said.
Well, first of all, there is a time frame. There's a 7-day time period in which you can vote. Okay, and if Dash had imported votes, she probably would have won Iowa, and she didn't win the Iowa caucus. And also, you said that I had used this as an attack towards Dash in my campaign when I was running for president. I, in fact, did not. You can go look at my previous campaign statements.
I mean, it says in the question, do you still believe? Which most likely means at some point you did believe this. And
I never believed that. I never even said that.
In addition, the 7-day waiting period is exactly why she boosted all of a sudden. It was before the Iowa caucus that she imported these votes. And according to Manchin, this is what happened. Manchin did answer the questions that we gave him and answered them truthfully, which I can respect because someone on this debate stage is not answering them truthfully.
I'm not answering them truthfully. Well, look, if you remember back in 2026 and even in the 2024 presidential primary election, you had a GOP chairman and vice chairman previously that were caught for voter fraud, importing votes. So, I mean, it's been done before by the Republicans.
Louis Amaya has gone against that. He has sniffed it out and campaigned and
right, but it's been done by
it.
your guys' party, though.
Me and Louis have actually authorized a bill to help kill the corruption within the Republican Party. And in fact, many of the people who did do it campaigned against us and didn't like us. We are true corruption fighters. And, well, you haven't really taken much opportunity to fight against corruption. So I would honestly say we are the true corruption fighters in this election, as seen in the Republican primaries and the midterm elections. Heck, even in the elections that Louis Amaya has ran, he ran first for GOP chairman against Owen Haley, someone who was eventually convicted of corruption. However, and he also ran in the Republican primaries against several people who had ties to corruption, and he beat them. This is signs that he is a true corruption fighter rather than a puppet like you're trying to paint him.
Okay, well, again, I'm just saying, like, your guys' party has had issues with fraud, and it could happen again in this election. I mean, I'm not saying it will, and we both certainly will accept the results of this election, but you guys are known to do it. It's happened twice in the past, in the midterms as well in the last presidential cycle.
Well, need I remind you, in the last presidential cycle, it was Skylar B. Bennett who was running, not Louis Amaya. And we accepted the results in both 2024 and 2026. So I don't know what accepting the results has to do about anything like that. So, yeah. But I would like to move on to the next question because I
would too.
People have places to be.
Yes, let's move on to the next question here. This but I hear that Leo Perdad had wanted to make sure it's known to all the viewers tonight that Bobby, the former Robert Flores candidate for the Democratic Party, had members come in and say that Rainbow Dash is a Dixiecrat. And there was proof that was sent in to the server. Okay, we are going to move on to the next question here. Shamrock, this is for you. You said in a recent interview that you believe that climate change exists. However, your RNC chairman believes that it is a hoax. Where does Amaya stand on the issue?
Well, I would just like to say that the chairman, as every single person in the server, is entitled to their own personal views. And me and Lewis do believe climate change exists, and we do believe it is a real threat, and we are going to combat it in affordable and good ways, not pouring all of our money into one thing and that thing barely getting anywhere and costing us trillions of dollars. We need affordable action immediately. And that is what me and Lewis stands on this issue.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Not as of current.
Okay. Rebuttal, Higgins, you have 1 minute.
Well, thank you. Yes, climate change certainly does exist. It is a growing threat to globally, not just here within the United States, but globally, and we need to work with other nations to work at combating climate change because it is a big issue. We have emissions, and we're trying to make a move into electric cars and to become more energy independent. Climate change is a real issue, and I certainly believe that it is going to be a key issue of this campaign.
Would you like to rebuttal?
No, I mean, I agree with most of the things said. I would definitely.
Okay, so you don't have a rebuttal then, so we're going to move on to the next question. Okay. So next question. What would you do with President Oliva's record? Higgins, your first 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. Raymond Dash and I, we certainly support the record that President Oliva has done in office. He's gotten a lot of bipartisan wins done for this country, and he's been a very good president when it comes to working for both sides of the aisle. He has record number approval ratings, amongst both Democrats and Republicans and independents, and he's done a great job, when it comes to doing all the things that he's done, and we want to expand upon his presidency. He's gotten a lot of stuff done when it comes to school initiatives and Supreme Court nominations, and we want to continue to be able to add more Supreme Court nominations and be able to make sure he's done a great job with NATO as well. We want to make sure NATO has every protection, and that we're supporting NATO under a Dash administration. Overall, though, Oliva's he has a great record of success as president, and we plan on hopefully continuing that record of success when Dash is elected president. Thank you.
Shamrock, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes, I would just like to say I almost
Okay, you have 1 minute.
I almost choked to death off camera, so that was not very fun. But basically, I agree with almost everything he said, but I would also like to point out that there has been flaws with President Oliva's administration, just like there has been every administration. But does that mean it's bad? No. Olivia has been a top-tier president throughout my lifetime, and I am proud to call him his president, and I am proud to say that Louis Amaya will continue his work.
Okay. And would you like to rebuttal, Higgins?
No, I pretty much agree. There are some things that I think, Shamrock and I certainly do disagree with that Oliva has done, but overall
Okay, so you're
his record
saying
has been
you
pretty
have a
good.
rebuttal because you're responding to what I just asked you.
Well, yeah, you asked me to rebut, and I am rebutting to what he said.
So you have a minute. Go ahead.
Yes, so I agree with his statement of, there are flawed. There obviously Oliva does have some flaws, but overall his administration has been very successful, and he has a very good record. That's all I got.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to move on to the next question. I'm sorry, I'm working in multiple different formats right now, so I do apologize, candidates. We are going to move on to the next question. Owen, would you like to ask the next question?
Sure.
Go ahead. Just don't bash it.
What's your view uh, on how the Constitution should be read?
Example, textualist. Shamrock, your first 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, I think the Constitution should be read as the founders intended. We should follow the Constitution, but we should also realize that this is a document that does need change over time, thus the need for amendments. I prefer to follow the Constitution. I have some very conservative beliefs that I believe the Constitution needs to be kept, obeyed, and followed. And I think this is an issue almost all of us can agree on that the Constitution was pretty much the best document in the history of the United States.
Higgins, would you like to rebuttal?
I mean, I really don't
hold on.
need.
You're not going to rebuttal. You are going to respond. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, yes, I mean, I really agree with pretty much everything that Shamrock said. The Constitution should be read as how the founders founded it and how they wrote it and how they adopted it. That's pretty. I mean, it's pretty much the same as Shamrock's answer. He gave a pretty good answer, so I got really nothing more.
Also, there is another troll currently in the comments.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Thank you for that.
This
I
is
will
like
handle
actually,
that right now.
this is actually like.
Right.
I know the reason why they're coming.
Rainbow
I might
Dash,
know.
hold
It's
on.
like horrible.
Rainbow Dash, stop it with the troll. I know that you don't mean it, but don't try to accidentally put multiple letters out because I will accidentally think that you're a troll and you will be banned. Not on purpose, but you're like putting words one letter at a time. I might not be paying attention. I might accidentally ban you, so please stop. Okay, we're going to move on. Do you guys like to rebuttal each other's statement, or are you guys good?
I think we're good.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next question. Owen, you're going to ask the next one, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead. And then pick a candidate that you want to respond first.
Okay. Do you think transgender individuals should be allowed to
Participate.
Yes, in their chosen gender sport? Shamrock, this is for you.
2 minutes.
Well, honestly, I might have a little unpopular opinion here, but I think I said what me and Lewis believe, and that is no. I do not think that. I think it is unfair. I think it is unfair for biological males to compete in women's sports. I don't think that is fair for women. And as someone who has had a sister almost get robbed of that opportunity in a sport that she would have placed almost top in the state in, I think it's unfair, and I think this shouldn't be a thing that we should normalize, and we should work honestly against this. However, I'm not as radical as some of like the complete banners of this, and I do believe creating a new sport for transgender people or a new group for them would probably be our best bet here.
Would you like to would you like to make your statement, Higgins?
Well, yes, I do
You have
agree
2
with you.
minutes.
I do think that we shouldn't have them competing in their specific gender sport. But what I would like to propose, and what Dash is wanting to propose, is maybe creating a league, so that way there's they're not infringing upon other people's sports, so that way you're not having a woman or a biological man in a woman's sport, or vice versa. Creating a league, so that way these people can participate in their choosing, and they can still participate in the same sport, just in their own different league. I think that would be we think that would be a great way for this issue, instead of infringing
Yeah,
upon
yeah,
the
you pretty much
candidacies.
just said what I said. So, I mean, I'm glad we share views on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it shouldn't be allowed, and that's why, again, we believe in creating opportunities for the for transgenders to participate, excuse me, in sports, but just creating a separate entity for it.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to move on with the next question here. For Shamrock, do you believe that Louis Amaya is a moderate, or is he pretending to be a moderate and appeals to the far right? If he is really a moderate, then how come he uses the same Trumpist rhetoric to divide Americans even further? Now, this is not submitted by me. Like I said, I haven't submitted any questions tonight. This was submitted by a voter. Shamrock, 2 minutes.
I would like to know why people seriously, and there's another troll, of course,
Yeah, I
but
banned him. They're
I would
good.
like
I
to
know why
know
they coming.
why people honestly think this. Louis Amaya might repeat some things like "Make America Great Again," but that's because he truly wants to make America great again. Louis Amaya has said yet and yet again that he is going to be a president for all, not just a certain political party or group. He is going to make this country great, and we are moderate problem solvers who will actually serve the entire public. The Dash campaign has pretty much said far left and liberal rhetoric and have campaigned with neo-socialists such as Leonard Kim. So I think if you're looking for the true
Yeah.
dividers, look no further than the Democratic ticket for president.
And would you like to make a rebuttal, Higgins, or do you have more to say, Shamrock?
I would also like to point out I found out why I almost choked to death.
Oh, okay. Do you want to share that? You have 45 seconds.
Yeah. There was ice in my bottled water. I don't know how, but
Oh,
there was. So
weird. Okay. Higgins, would you like to rebuttal?
Sure. So,
1 minute.
personally, we believe more that Amaya is a moderate candidate. We certainly, both of our campaigns seem to find common ground um, on issues. We have been pretty much in agreement this entire debate. I mean, there was really a few issues in which we didn't agree. But we sorry about that. We don't feel that he is an extreme candidate, but we obviously he uses words like MAGA, which is for the far right, in my opinion. But I mean, I believe that is just him trying to coalesce with the
Okay,
right,
thank you for your
more so.
response. You're over 1
And
minute. Would you like to rebuttal, Shamrock?
yes, well, I mean, if you have someone who is defending Leonard Kim, who is pretty much one of the most far left people on this server, then clearly you have at least some views to the far left or sympathies. And you have Kim campaigning rally after rally after rally after rally. Honestly, more than Higgins has really done himself. And while I don't think Higgins is an inactive campaigner or a bad campaigner of any sorts, I think it's definitely should be acknowledged that Leonard Kim is practically running the Dash campaign. And I would like to know who is the puppet master of this campaign.
Well, can I respond to that? Can I respond to
Yep,
that?
go ahead. Yep,
Okay.
you have a minute.
So, look, there's a reason that Rainbow Dash ran against Leo, okay? And that's because Rainbow Dash and Leo have fundamental disagreements on certain issues. So, saying that, Leo is puppeteering this campaign is not accurate in any way. Yes, I frankly have been absent from the campaign trail at times due to other events that happen, inside of life. I am a busy person, but there's a reason that Dash ran the campaign, and Leo has been in this race for quite a bit, and Leo was going to stay in it until the very end, until Leo figured out that Leo didn't have a path to the nomination. So, Dash is here running against Leo, and Dash ran against Leo for a reason.
Well, I mean, he might have then, but it seems awfully recently. Even during the primaries, he was getting awfully cuddly with Leo, and it was definitely somewhat of a surprise even to us how swiftly Leo had pretty much rallied the troops and went with Dash. And it's shocking even now to me to see how many rallies he's done. I mean, to me, it just appears that Dash is caving in to Leo's policies.
Well, first of all, Leo is the chair of the DNC, so of course Leo would be behind Dash if since Leo lost the nomination. So I don't know what you were trying to make the point there, because Leo is the chair of the DNC, and I'm sure you would even support the Republican nominee, even if it was, for example, Jeffrey Lee in this position. So I don't really get this argument, but yeah.
Well, I mean, recently you said that you weren't pro-Palestine and you weren't pro-Israel. You supported a two-state agreement, correct?
Okay, we are going to move on.
Yes.
We're going to put the next
Yes.
question. We have the Israel-Palestine comment, in the that question that was asked by another voter. We're going to move on. Owen, you're going to be asking that question, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead. And pick somebody. Hold on, sorry.
What are both of you plans to help combat climate change? Shamrock.
2 minutes.
Well, I mean, I've already kind of laid out the plans. I think both of us have really already answered this question. What me and
should we move on, or you want to make a quick response?
Well, I mean, I support affordable action against climate change and the Make America Beautiful Again plan. I don't know if Dash wants to continue, but that's pretty much it for me.
So for the Dash campaign, yes, I mean, we do support combating climate change. We believe in a Clean Energy Act that we feel will help us create millions of jobs and invest in energy independence throughout America, so we aren't reliant on others. We want to be completely energy independent with ourselves. Furthermore, we personally to this campaign, we would, we believe that climate change has caused refugee crises in foreign nations, which with raising with raised pollution levels, and obviously it's increased the amount of natural disasters, and that's why we believe in our comprehensive plan to combat climate change for the good of America.
Okay. And would you like to rebuttal?
No, I'd like to move on to the next question.
Okay, perfect. Owen, go ahead.
What will you do to combat aliens?
Very big question, but go ahead. Pick somebody. Shamrock, go ahead. 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, as of right now, it doesn't appear that the aliens have been doing that much to fight against us. So as of right now, I support the Olivia's administration's policies of peace. I would like to keep the peace as much as we have it. However, if an attack were to come, I would definitely support fighting for American interests and fighting back. But aside from that, that is the only way I think we would ever attack an alien inhabitants if we are attacked first. I currently support peace.
Okay, and Higgins, 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, I pretty much agree with what Shamrock said. We want to make sure that we have peaceful negotiations and certainly keep peace so that no further conflicts happen. In this instance, we want to try to work together to come to solutions for this issue. So, just maintaining the peace is what we feel in the Dash campaign is most important.
Okay. And would you like to rebuttal that, Shamrock?
I mean, we seem to be in agreement. I don't see any reason to rebuttal.
Can I just make a quick comment here? Stop messaging me on Discord. I can't do multiple things at once, please. Next question. The climate change exists. Shamrock, 2 minutes.
We have already definitely answered this question more than once, but
Okay,
I definitely
so let's move
believe
on.
it exists.
Yes, move on.
Next question for Shamrock. A lot of controversy has happened to the Republican Party, and many voters are still dissatisfied with the decision to nominate Amaya Shamrock ticket. Do you think the damage has been dealt with, or are there any solutions to growing disconnect between the Republican Party and its voters?
Let's be real here. I could say that there was discontent with my nomination at the beginning of when we were nominated. Now, that isn't even an issue. Lee and Carter, now Ford, and almost all the members of the Lee campaign strongly support Louis Amaya. And Republican unity is stronger than it has ever been, and it is all thanks to Nancy Reagan, who has done a fantastic job as chair. I have met with almost everyone who supported the Lee campaign, and I've gotten almost all of them on board. There is no discontent with our ticket, and I think everyone in the Republican Party is united behind Louis Amaya and myself to win the White House in November.
Okay, and Higgins, 2 minutes.
I mean, I don't really know what you want me to respond to this.
Okay, thanks. Do you want to give a rebuttal, or we can move on?
Yeah, I don't really have a response.
Okay, move
to that.
on.
I mean, I guess the
Okay,
Republican Party seems.
Yep, no problem. I'm going to move on. Okay. What is your opinion on providing more funding to NASA, enhancing weapons and training for the U.S. Space Force created by former President Donald Trump? What would your administration do to ensure the peace in the intergalactic future? Higgins, you're up. 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. Yes, so we in the Dash administration want to make sure that we give more funding so that way we combat all this alien stuff that's going on and continue the peace negotiations. Also, when it comes to NASA, we want to create more technology so that our astronauts, when they go up to space and when they are doing the things that they do, that they have more technology and more technological advancements at their disposal for them. But I mean, really, like I said, just what I want to highlight though is the just more funding with all this alien stuff going on right now, and then again continuing the negotiations of peace and continuing to be to make sure that America remains peaceful in these negotiations.
Okay, and Shamrock, 2 minutes. Would you like to say your response?
Yes. I mean, now that we know extraterrestrials and aliens exist, I think it is now more important than ever to gear up and to grow stronger and provide more funding to NASA and space weapons and equipment. But I also agree with Mr. Higgins here. I do believe that peace is the most important priority, and we will make sure we can both grow stronger and have peace.
Okay, perfect. And Higgins, would you like to rebuttal?
I don't have anything to rebut. No.
Okay. And Shamrock, do you have anything else you'd like to say? You have 30 seconds if you would.
I'm okay.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Do you believe that the documents around the assassination of JFK should be declassified? Shamrock, 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, I have yet to see a good argument on why they shouldn't. It was obviously one of the most shady assassinations in history, so shady that many still believe today that it has been unsolved. And I think many in the Kennedy family and many in America have the right to know what really happened to Kennedy. Is the report they're giving us true, or was there interference that we do not know about? I would 100% support the declassification of the assassination documents about John F. Kennedy.
And okay, and Higgins, would you like to make your statement? 2 minutes.
Yes. In the Dash administration, we want to be as transparent as possible, and we feel that with that transparency would, yes, be declassifying them. We need to know exactly what happened in this assassination, and I think the American public deserves to know any security failures and certainly everything about Lee Harvey Oswald that's already not out there. So yes, I do think that they need to be declassified, and for the transparency, so that way the American people has that transparency and the clarification on this horrific assassination.
Okay, and Shamrock, would you like to rebuttal?
I'm okay.
Okay, we're moving on to the next question. Owen, go ahead.
Okay, name one criticism of the current president and state your overall thoughts.
This was submitted, by the way. Shamrock, 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, again, I can't really say that the president isn't a good president. I strongly approve of him, and he's done a great job. However, if I had to name one nitpick, it was the furry protection executive order that he was going to pass. However, I think he's pretty much patched it up by deciding not to pass that. Though I do believe if he did, it would have been consequential and overall a big net negative. So I'm glad he did not, but that would be one criticism I have of President Olivia.
Okay, and thank you for that. And Higgins, 2 minutes.
The only thing I have, Oliva's been a pretty good president. We like I said, the Olivia administration has done quite a bit for this nation. Obviously, we think that Oliva did a great job when it comes to education expansion and American jobs, but we feel that there are more that that Rainbow Dash can do on those opportunities that President Oliva previously didn't do under his administration.
And Shamrock, would you have anything else you'd like to rebuttal to that statement?
Well, I think, of course, it's very, very important to be moderate with our policies, and I think Olivia has done just that. And so me and Lewis would definitely want to continue a lot of the work done by the Olivia administration. We would like to switch a few things up. And I think deep down, Dash and Higgins would like to do so in their own ways, but probably more liberal than what we want. And so that's pretty much why we're here, because we have fundamental disagreements on a few issues that will happen to change the fate of this country. I think overall, both of us can agree at the end of the day, we want to continue Olivia's policies and we want to make America great, but it is in how we do that we are here.
Okay, hold on. I am going to interject here. Leo, if you're watching Adam on the Leo Paradox Discord server, he is Jake Edwards. He is banned. So just want to make sure you are aware that Adam and him are the same person. Just so you know. We are going to move on to the next question here. We are going to start with the Democratic candidate, Governor Tom Higgins. What are your thoughts on the Vice President, Nanai Kim? Go ahead, 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything against the vice president personally. I think Vice President Kim is, again, a good person, but I do disagree with much of the more lefter wing policies of the vice president. Dash and I are both moderates. We want to strive for bipartisanship, and we felt that Vice President Kim is not working on a bipartisan way enough, and certainly hasn't been moderate enough to meet the needs of our country.
Okay, and Shamrock, would you like to rebuttal? I mean, hold on. Would you like to state your opinion?
Well, I mean, Leonard Kim, actually, back when I did my first interview, one of the big questions asked to me was, do I think Vice President Leonard Kim is the biggest threat to democracy? And I answered, as of right now, no. However, if elected president, be a threat to democracy. As of right now, I disapprove of the vice president. He is far too left for this country. And I just think he is overall a net negative for our country. And, well, I do think that Higgins agrees with me when I say that he is far too left and far neo-socialist, as some may say. However, I would also like to point out that Higgins said Dash disapproves of this as well, when a lot of evidence shows that she and Leo actually have somewhat similar policies.
Higgins, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes, Dash, they may have some similar policies, but Dash doesn't agree with how do I word this? Like he hasn't been as moderate as Dash would like, and that's why Dash ran against Leo, and certainly that's why Dash is the nomination now, because Dash was the more moderate candidate and the more sensible candidate in this election.
Okay, I'm moving on. Owen, go ahead.
Okay. They all non-Dash and non-Amaya voters who are either not voting at all in the general election as a sign of protest, what would be your plans to counter the growing movement of people unwilling to vote for either one of them?
Okay, Higgins, you're first. 2 minutes.
Yeah, so what Dash and I want to do to outreach to those undecided voters who say that they don't want to vote. Now it's your right. Obviously, I encourage voting. I believe everybody should vote in this election. But we want to hear and listen to voter concerns and listen to what the voters are saying. The voters are the ones electing us to be president and vice president, and if there's an issue that a person or a voter has with a policy or with our campaign or with us personally, we will certainly work to address that issue. And we want to reach out to you and talk to you and see how we can address all these issues with you.
Okay. And Shamrock, you go ahead. You have 2 minutes on the clock. You want me to repeat your question?
Well, I'm fine. I know what the question is. However, I would
Go
like
ahead.
to point out, I don't understand why people are skeptical about voting. Voting is one of the few rights that Americans have that people in countless countries don't have. And if you, in a year or two, are complaining like, gee whiz, I really don't like this Rainbow Dash guy, or gee whiz, I don't really like this Louis Amaya guy, and you didn't vote, that is nobody's fault but your own. Every vote counts. And I would like to be back in election-wise the 1870s, where almost 70 or 80% of the public was voting. And I think that's what America should be now. And I would also like to point out, Louis Amaya has a record of fighting for the underdog, for fighting for moderate problem-solving policies, and fighting for the American people. And so I think if you look at that, you can really realize who the good candidate is and vote for him.
Okay. And Higgins, would you like to rebuttal?
No, I think Shamrock really nailed it on the head there.
Okay, so I do want to make sure all candidates here tonight understand and know that anyone with me and Leo had just spoken, we are going to enact a new policy on the Discord server that basically, if you see, you tell, and you will be rewarded. And what this basically means is that any candidate or anybody on the Discord server, it doesn't matter if you're running or not, if you see somebody giving a link to anyone to this Discord live or to the Discord server to troll or anything like that, there will be consequences for that, and you can make it well known to both me and Leo, and we will handle the issue. Because if not, we are talking about a possible removal of the presidential the presidential election simulation permanently. So I just want to make sure that is known. I recommend both candidates tonight, including Owen, you all understand and that you're able to ensure that you follow by those guidelines. If you see, you tell us, and we will handle it. Anybody who's sending out invite link to people, they should not be doing that, to especially trolled. That's going to be an issue on the server. We're going to handle it. So if you can be our advocate, if you see it, tell us. You'll be rewarded for doing so. Just want to make sure that is known. We are going to move on. Just want to make sure that it is known that we might be removing the presidential election event if this continues. Okay, so what is your campaign stance? Oh, never mind. Yeah, let's do that. This is actually a good question. What is your campaign stance and policy on dealing with extraterrestrials and their leaders? We are going to be reducing your campaign time. We are going to be reducing your ability to speak. So you guys only have 1 minute to make your statement. Go ahead, Shamrock. 1 minute.
Well, I mean, we have already made this pretty vocal. Both me and Higgins want peace through strength. And as Leonard Kim has done with Chris Olivia, I hope to do with Lewis Amaya. I hope to be the one, with help from Lewis, of course, to be on the negotiation desk and to make sure things go good. I want good trade deals with them, and I want peace and alliances made with them, not shaky tensions as they are as of current.
And Higgins, go ahead. 1 minute.
Well, yeah. Again, we've touched this topic, and we're both in agreement that we want peace and prosperity for in the negotiations and for both of our planets as well, because we want to make sure that both are benefited. Obviously, if things get out of hand, we will act accordingly, but otherwise, we are pretty much striving for peace within during this issue.
Okay, perfect. We're going to move on to the next question. What are your thoughts on the current crippling economy? This is not a question because that is not actually true. That is not factual here, so we are not going to even entertain that idea or question. What are your thoughts on Senator Jeffrey Lee? This is a submission. Go ahead, Higgins.
I mean, my personal thoughts on Jeffrey Lee. I mean, I haven't had anything personally against him. I have nothing personally against him. I mean, I do know he has colluded in the past, with the past Republican chairs and certainly past candidates about vote rigging. In the last primary cycle in 2024, I believe he had some allegations of rigging. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he did. But I mean, I have nothing against him personally. I mean, he is a pretty more centrist candidate, and yeah, I mean, I like I said, I got really nothing against him.
Okay, we do have some breaking news here. We are going to step aside for 1 minute. Candidate Higgins, Vice Presidential nominee, and Vice Presidential nominee Shamrock. Because of the event that's been ongoing on the Discord server, Leo wants me to let you guys know that whoever wins this election will be the last president to be elected on the server. There will be no more events happening afterwards. So just want to make sure you guys understand.
Wait, why?
Why?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Why?
so there won't be any more. Leo will no longer be doing it. It will be on to me and the staff to host events. He just said we can do a midterm event and other election events. However, he himself has stepped out. He will no longer be doing any sort of presidential election event because of personal reasons, and also what has been ongoing in the server and also on YouTube had made it very difficult for him to be able to enjoy what he does, and he has burnout. So I just want to make sure you guys know that.
Does this mean that we are no longer having elections in the Leo server, or just Leo is done hosting them?
Leo is no longer going to be hosting the presidential election simulation. So there won't be any real official election. It will just be on the staff team to host those events, but Leo himself has stepped out, so he won't be doing any more presidential simulations. So that means no more general election night. So this would be bittersweet. The presidential election will probably, the debate-wise, will be the last one that we do, and then also it will be the last election where we actually see the results come in state by state. So whoever is the president will most likely stay as president indefinitely. So yeah. So I don't even know how to respond to that accordingly.
I mean, this is actually extremely sad. I mean, I know it's unlikely, but I really hope Leo has a change of mind. I've been loving these events. I think everyone has. And I think everyone was wishing that they had a future and more time during these events. And I understand Leo is very busy, and I understand that he has stuff to do. But I would definitely appreciate it greatly if he could make way for some of these events, or at least try and teach someone how to run it as good as he's been doing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Shamrock. I've enjoyed not only participating in the events this cycle, but also watching them last cycle. I think that it's a fun way to just get the community together and really you know keep everybody involved and engaged in the discussion. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. This was definitely a better tweet, for sure. We are going to push through with the final question because it is going to be bittersweet. But I do advise everybody, if you do want to be on TNN, and you've been in the Discord server for quite a while, I would allow you to join the general election when the results come out, because it could be very well our very last. There's going to be a couple of months from this next couple of weeks for the next general election. I'm sure that Leo might have a change of mind, but there's no guarantee. I mean, it makes sense. September is when he starts college again. So I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But, me and Seba are going to have to start talking about it. We'll see where the future of the election goes. But in the meantime, I advise both candidates tonight to allow the presidential nominee to also know that on the side hand that whoever wins most likely will just stay as president. That could be interesting to see how that plays out. And yeah, so I guess let's keep going. I don't know. Do you think we should keep going if there's no election after 2028, or what do you think? Should we
I mean, I
continue with the
definitely think
debate?
it's worth it. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's keep it going. Come on.
Okay. All right, next question. What is your stance on extraterrestrials being framed by rogue anti-alien groups to assassinate the president? The president later signed an executive order allowing extraterrestrials to become citizens. However, the president met the leader again to resume peace talks, and it went well again. The leader told the president that they are here to create peace and will work with the United States to quell any doubt and will be open to providing any and all information into the assassination investigation. You guys have 1 minute. Higgins, your turn. 1 minute.
Well, thank you. Again, I mean, this kind of relates back to what we've already been talking about with the extraterrestrials. But again, we want to show the terrestrials peace and transparency, and we want to make sure that the people who are behind this are held accountable, that they are prosecuted, and that we find the root causes of what happened here, and that they are ultimately held accountable for their actions against for their crimes.
Okay, and Shamrock, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, we've kind of answered the extraterrestrial question, but I'm going to stray to the Olivia assassination attempt,
Go ahead,
which
Beth.
was
You can go to any
horrible.
part of the question.
And I think it was even more degenerate and a horrible display of how humans were to aliens when they tried to assassinate a respected and beloved president and pin it on extraterrestrials. That is a threat to democracy. It is a threat to humanity, and it is a threat to the balance of peace. And I would definitely support anyone involved or even knowledgeable of this attack and the framing of it to be arrested and sentenced to their time in prison. This was horrible, and it should never happen again.
Okay, thank you for that, candidates. We're going to go on, moving on to the next question here. Okay, according to multiple polls, 2/3 of Americans support the right for women to have an abortion. What is your stance? Shamrock, you're first.
Well, personally, I am against abortion. However, I believe a president for the nation has to be a president for the nation. And so I think we should leave it up for the states to decide. We should acknowledge rape and incest as a pretty much free pass, and we should allow states to vote on this. However, I personally am against abortion.
Shamrock, you're up.
I think you mean Higgins. But for this, I mean, it's pretty simple. We believe in the women's right to choose. We need to make sure it's safe and it's protected and it's legal. You have the right to do what you want with your body, and I'm pro-choice, Dash is pro-choice, and we're running a pretty pro-choice campaign. But we also want to make sure that there are more investment, when it comes to IVF, and we want to educate more, in schools on safe sex, and certainly on birth control, and expand the access to birth control wherever there is one. But yes, we support abortion 100%. We want to codify it and make sure that it is indeed the law of the land.
Okay, and moving on to the next question. Shamrock, you're first. You got 1.5 minutes. What is the most important policy you want to see enacted by your administration if you were to be elected?
Before I answer this question, I would like to just tap back to the abortion argument real quick.
Okay, go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Okay, I think it is important for people to be in control of their bodies and to have their choice. However, I also believe that there is definitely a limit on when abortion should be banned, because at a limit, you're practically killing a fetus. And at that limit, that should be practically registered as murder. You are technically killing a human life in those stages.
Okay, and we are going to move on to the next question. What is the most important policy you want to see enacted? Each candidate will have 30 seconds to respond. Shamrock, you're first.
Me and Lewis definitely want reform for the education system and fighting against the opioid crisis, and those are the two biggest policies. However, if I had to choose one, the Education Act of 2028 would definitely be something we are looking forward to passing if elected.
Okay, and Higgins?
And for us, one thing that I want to look forward to when elected is we want to see more infrastructure investment that will help create more jobs and make our roads much more cleaner and much more safer. We also want to strengthen workers' rights for the working class, for the middle class, and be pro-union as we possibly can.
Okay. And so, what do you think are the 3 reasons you will take the mantle of responsibility to be a heartbeat away from the presidency? I think this is a really good question. Remember, actors, this is a phenomenal question. Shamrock.
Reason number 1.
30 seconds.
Me and Lewis are almost identical in policies. We agree on almost everything, and that was the main reason I chose to help him and be his running mate. If, God forbid, anything happened to Lewis, I would practically know exactly what he would do and enact it as president. Reason number 2, I have the experience to do this. I have worked in the House of Representatives with my colleagues, gotten stuff done, and made my own laws. And reason number 3, I have gotten all over the country, rally after rally after rally for Lewis. So I am in tune with the American people, but I am also tuned with politicians, as shown by the fact I was able to get the nomination in the first place. So I am more than capable of taking the responsibilities as vice president. And if it comes to it, president.
Higgins, your turn.
Well, look, I've had, my first reason is I'm the head of state, or the chief executive of the state of Florida, so I know what it means to lead, and I know what it means being the top executive of the state. Secondly, I know how to be honest and lead through the tough times. Like I said, I'm the chief executive, so I know that people, when they struggle, they need a leader, and I feel I can be that leader if it happens. And number three, I've also been going around the country. I did run for president. I know what the voters of this country need and what they want to hear, and what they support in as a president.
Okay. And so we're going to have two questions in one. It's not written on the screen, but I'm just going to do both. I want you to give 30 seconds to each of these questions. Do you support increasing the minimum wage or even decreasing it? And what is your stance on Israel and Palestine? Higgins, you're first.
Did you say Higgins first? Sorry.
Yes, I said, what is your stance on increasing the minimum wage or even decreasing it?
Yeah.
And also, what is your stance on Israel, Palestine? You have 30 seconds for each.
Yes. So, yes, I do. We do support increasing the minimum wage as long as it's corresponding with inflationary numbers. We don't want to put ourselves in a place where it's too where it will put us in debt even more, or even be bad just for financially of our country. And then for Palestine, when it comes to the Palestine issue, we supported a two-state solution because we want to make sure that we have peace in the Middle East, that we can work out a peace agreement between these two, and then we want to have free democratic elections for both of these countries as well.
Okay, and Shamrock, this will be your last question.
I would just like to point out that if the Dash campaign truly wanted peace in the Middle East, a two-state solution is not the way to do that. We have seen the results of a two-state solution in which there is constant war, terrorism, and some of the most vile actions in the corners of the earth taking place there. It is clear that a two-state solution isn't working very well. In fact, it really seems like the opposite. And that's why I support funding Israel. They are fighting similar battles to what we were after 9/11. They are fighting against terrorism, and they are fighting for democracy. And I think if Higgins and Dash truly wanted to build democracy and strengthen democracy throughout the Middle East, they would support Israel, who has been our ally since their foundation in 1948.
Okay, and you have...
Can I have a chance to respond to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yes, we do support Israel. They are a key ally of ours. We believe that Israel has a right to defend themselves. We do completely. What Hamas did in this war was heinous. They committed a heinous act, and it should have never ever happened. And frankly, I do. We do believe in trying again for as much peace as there possibly can, and we are going to ensure that in our administration.
I would like to just say something rebuttal to that real quick. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, trying again is only going to go so far. I mean, we have tried since 1948 for a two-state solution. We have given Palestine several opportunities. Like one opportunity giving them almost 90% of the land known as Israel. They would have even had a majority of Jerusalem. But they have turned down every single opportunity and instead continue fighting. They brought countless Muslim countries to join them in not just one, but two wars to destroy the nation of Israel. It is clear that they cannot desecrate based on my religious and political beliefs that Israel has the right to remain in the land and that we should support its cause to fight terrorism and preserve democracy in the Middle East.
Okay, perfect. And Candace, please state your closing argument. Then we do have to end this because I gotta take my dog potty. Higgins, your first 30 seconds. Make your closing argument.
Did you say for Higgins first? Sorry. I was losing connection there.
It's okay. Please state your closing argument here. We're done. So why should they vote for the Higgins Dash candidate?
You should definitely vote for Higgins and Dash because we want to continue on the successful policies of the Oliva administration, but usher in new voices and new ideas. We want to be pro-labor, continue to expand education, add a public option for healthcare, and revive the American dream through leadership and bipartisanship. And that's what I feel Dash brings to the ticket.
Okay.
And that's why you should elect Dash as president.
Thank you. And Shamrock, go ahead.
Well, I think this debate has showed a lot of us tonight. And I think a big piece of that is that the person who should be the Democratic nominee is Tom Higgins. He is much more moderate and much more open than Dash ever will be. However, I also believe Louis Amaya is the best choice no matter what for president. He has demonstrated time and time again his moderate principles, and he has demonstrated time and time again that he will fight for us instead of corrupt politicians. If you want change from the order without violent and abrupt, chaotic results, please, you are more than welcome to vote Louis Amaya for president. We have worked hard on the campaign trail, in the country, and in politics to make this country what it is today, and we will continue to do so as your president. Just from this debate, you have seen Higgins and Dash support the status quo and keeping things how they are, even if those things are not working.
Okay.
Me and Dash will not do that, or me and Louis will not do that, and we will continue to keep the ball rolling while also making America great in aspects that it is lacking.
Okay,
Vote
and thank
Louis
you for
Amaya
your
for
closing.
president.
Thank you for your closing argument. Have a great night, and thank you all. I'm sorry we didn't get to everybody's questions. I do want to thank the candidates here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you,
Have
everybody.
a great night, and thank you guys.
Thank you.